nation. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. Follow me now. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. This a me. My name is Pupa. Belize me come from the Belize City area. 110% Belize and proud of it, sir. Don't tell me about maritime area. Long time ago agreement by the slave master. Talking about the head and the Belize and dollar because this a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. Come on. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. I know we should always help our neighbor, especially in time of a natural disaster. But this is not the case with Guatemala because the poor people will never say a dollar. Only a few rich man will start to get richer. To the prime minister, be happy, write a letter because
Mr. Politician, we got to change the plans.
God have mercy.
Mr. Politician, we got to change the plans.
This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. Oh no, this a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. Not an inch, not a foot, not a centimeter. We never give it to Guatemala because look what them do to the people of my color. If them speak too loud, sure to get murder. Look what them do to the Indian Maya. Holy for them massacre. La mismo presidente quiere we agua because this a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. Oh no, this a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. Belize if you need a soldier, just send for the Papa, cause I'm a true warrior. Just send for Daddy Tracy and Rankin Jr. Just send for Bernie Mac and Kenny M. my brother. Send for Andy P, send for the Mad Rocker. Just send to Stone Jam, you are the commander. Because this a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. So listen to the lyrics where Papa a chat. Some people only see ya, some see further than that. From my observations, they plan out the what, yes. Plan out the what to make a quick attack. But if it come to that, me I go pick up the gat, me I go lift enough shot on the militant. Me I go shoot the Indian, me I go shoot the black. Me just lift enough shot on the militant. What? Me want you carry this message straight to the top. Me here we have a lot of island on the sea, man. Because this a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. Oh no, this a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. This time me, my name is Pupa. Belize we come from the Belize City area. 110% Belize and proud of it, sir. Don't tell me about maritime area. Long time ago agreement by the slave master. Talking about the head and the Belize and dollar because this a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it. We'll never give it up to another nation. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. This a me.
Would I take this out already here? Okay. We're on already.
Okay, we're on. Good morning and welcome to the 16th edition of Sunday Review for 2020. I'm your host, YaYa Marin-Coleman. Yes, I had to show myself this morning. Our colleague from News 7 inspired me in the Craig, and my Earth Strong is this Saturday. This Thursday, I live good.
Thursday.
May 7th, I'll be 54 years old, so I had to show myself. I had to show myself. The co-host this morning, Ellen Sue, just tell me for she Earth Strong not the 5th, so yeah. And I'm excited to celebrate the Earth Strong the 30th of April. Look at Taurus energy, the boat. Salute to the Taurus people. Morning, Ellen Sue.
And right and all.
Respect. Our guests this morning are representing 3 districts in the country of Belize. 2 weeks ago, I started the Belize National Community Conversation, getting input from Belizeans around the country about their COVID-19 realities. So hailing from the west, Kaya District, Belmopan Mese. This sister is no stranger to one latter way. She checked one lot of the box where oftentimes is not checked in policy conversation and meaningful discussions. So she is a Black woman farmer. Yes, as a farmer, not just talking farmer. I see people get the pictures now. Real farmer. Stephanie Williams from Belmopan and member of the Belize Grassroots Youth Empowerment Association Working Group. Morning, Stephanie.
Morning, YaYa, morning, Ellen, and good morning, Belize.
And our next guest this morning is from the Orange Walk district. Again, no stranger to anyone. Elissa, I don't know why we're not see up on the screen. We
Uh,
have our sister Elissa Castellanos from the Orange Walk district. She is a human rights defender and is a known sex worker advocate. Good morning, Elissa.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Belize. It's such a pleasure to be here on this warm, beautiful morning.
So, what we're not see you, Elissa?
I don't know. I'm obviously not technologically savvy, but I
Are you
don't know.
clicking on the on? I thought you were away from the screen. Are you clicking on the video?
Yes, it says I'm click. Okay, it's saying, okay, here, maybe. Are you
There
seeing
you
it
go.
now?
No, we're not seeing you. We're still
Oh,
seeing your profile. And is your camera not covered?
it's not covered. It just doesn't,
Okay,
it just
we'll
doesn't.
figure it out during the break for sure. But
I'll
people
keep
definitely
trying.
know who you are.
I'll keep trying.
And then we'll have from Hopkins Village, the Stan Creek district, our brother Raspin. He will be calling in on Krem Radio because, like I've said to a number of people, there's a number of Belizeans who, for whatever the reason may be, do not have access to the internet. And so they're limited to information, especially as it relates to COVID-19. And it's one of the things when you have your things tend to be very Belize City Center because we're the population
That's
capital.
true.
And
Mhm.
so we've heard on more than one occasion, again, as it relates to COVID-19, that the government needs to improve on how they give information in real time as it relates to the mediums, such as social medium or maybe on television. A number of people in the rural areas are still using radio and they speak other languages. And so there's a need to have the information shared in other languages. So remember now, Sue are strong at the fifth, and mine's at the seventh. Sue, I show yourself this morning, Sue. What up on the show yourself station? You want to tell me how old you and be? Or you not either one, and sister wanna say how old you and be? I know to hear you, Sue.
I I have my mic on mute. I say I young, I was 38.
Yeah, young. I young too?
Yes, that young.
Yes, too are young. So and see how are you
Yes.
being this morning? Yes, give thanks and praises. Elissa has joined us. Give thanks.
So
So
beautiful.
Elissa, yes, Elissa, I had introduced you. So I will go around and ask Elissa, tell us how you're being this morning.
Great. Yeah. I really, when I got the call, I was very excited. I'm trying to make the most of the quarantine and do some self work. So that's my focus right now. Today's Sunday, so after this, I'm going to take some hours to just relax and do things for myself, like laundry. That's fun for me. It gets me outside. It gets me really just away from everything else. Time to focus on myself. So that's really what I've been doing this morning. I was up a little bit early, did some meditation, saw the sun come up, enjoyed the birds chirping in my window. So yeah, just giving thanks and making the best of being at home or having to stay home.
Give thanks, Elissa. Self-care is critical, especially
Is
as movement workers. It's a conversation Elissa and I have been having for a period of time now, and especially as women of color, how important it is to take time to invest in ourselves, love up on ourselves, take care of ourselves. Salute, Elissa. Elissa, again, is a human rights defender and a sex worker advocate from the Orange Walk district, which is in northern Belize. So, Stephanie, how are
Yes,
you being this morning?
I'm wonderful. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Although I'm not quite a TV person, but I'm here. I'm very excited to share my experience and hope I
I have
inspire.
a heavy feedback, like a fan
Um,
or something.
okay, I'll fix it in just a few.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Okay.
All right, yes. So, farming now is basically working every day, but it doesn't feel like working, so I must say that. I truly enjoy it. So, I took the morning off. I was supposed to actually be out in Harmonyville this morning,
Uh,
participating in our pilot project, but I'm here nevertheless, and I'm happy to be here.
Respect. Thanks, sister. Ellen Sue, how are you being this morning?
I am my being as well. Been I've like Miss Elissa. I've been doing self care stuff. I mentioned earlier. I was making my outfit for my Strong celebrations, and then I was working on my book. I've been in several publications before, but this is my first solo project. So I have to get my this copy that the publisher sent me this, and I'm reviewing it. I should get it to her before midday today.
What's the
So
focus sample? You'll be on the show until a little after midday. What's the focus of your book, if you don't mind sharing, Ellen
this
Sue?
first book that I'm self that will be my project only is about the my journey. Um, my son transition in September 2016. So these are all the pieces that I wrote about him, which shows my movement from mourning to understanding, overstanding, understanding, and just the healing.
Asha, are you willing to call your youth's name who is now one of our
Yes,
ancestors?
sister. Yes, Damien Nigel Garcia.
Ashe, youth, Ashe.
Yeah.
Thanks. So we'll jump right into it. For those who are just joining us, this is the second Sunday Review Belize National Community COVID-19 Connection via Skype. And we have representation. The last time we had from 5 districts. Now we've learned that it's best to maybe only have from 3 districts so that we have a better connection technically. So the last time we had all 5 districts except the Orange Walk district. So this time I made sure I went and I got a representation from the Orange Walk district, from the Kaya district, and Raspin will be calling in on Krem radio. So whenever he calls in, we'll pause our conversation and allow him to share with us. Raspin, I'll have him share his story when he calls in. So Elissa, this past week on Facebook, I saw that you had a post asking for the number to the Belize Family Court, and that video clip got over 1,000 views. Can you give us the essence of what your challenge was within a COVID-19 framework, please?
Well, I'm gonna just give a little quick review of what is it that I do. It's called Victims' Rights Advocacy, and I walk the road of navigating the criminal and justice system with women that are having challenges. Sometimes those challenges are that the partner, or the ex-partner rather, father of their children, is physically paying the child support to the family court in the various districts. It could be Orange Walk or Belize City. And what has happened then is that the system, which, it's like this mythical creature right now to me, because I can never get on paper, written down in black and white. I don't see it on a website. I have not seen it in the library. I'm still researching to get a very clear understanding of why some women end up waiting 7 months, 3 months, 4 months for payments that I think are not even fair payments toward, or contribution towards what it takes to maintain a child. You have men paying $25, $35 a week for an entire child. Now, I don't have children, but I work a lot with children through the mothers that I engage in my services. And I also have grandnieces that are of that same, age range. And so I know that $25 is not enough for all the needs of the child. And so the system already, I think, is unfair in many ways, but waiting for payment should not take this long. And so there's something wrong with the system and the processing. It needs more staff. It needs to be updated electronically. It needs more trauma-informed, victim-centered training for the staff dealing with the women when they come in and ask the questions as to why is it that it's not showing up in my bank account, or what's taking so long for a salary deduction. I have a case with police, so that's where that that came from that day I was helping a client with, not only food assistance we were discussing, but we were talking about that she had payments due from December, was the last time she received a payment. And then the partner kept telling her, I'm paying, but then she wasn't showing up in her bank account. And this is an issue because in the system, so a lot of times when people are at the family court system, it's because the relationship has deteriorated, sometimes become extremely antagonistic to the point that it's a case of gender-based violence in some form. So having the mother have to depend on the man to give her a copy of the receipt that he has paid the child support, that then she can go and claim that child support, makes it a dynamic of power to the man, which is, I would say, 87% of the time already an abuser. And so that matter of having control over her being able to claim that receipt that he has paid in order to get her statement from Treasury that, where is the payment? Has it gone into the account? Has it been processed? And so the system needs a lot of changing. And right now during COVID, these women, these single mothers need that money for food. I have many women that did not make it to the neither Social Security COVID relief unemployment benefit. And I have other women that didn't even make it for the food assistance. I have over 7 women right now this week that I don't know how I'm going to feed them because I'm waiting for human development to respond to their applications for food assistance. And but it's at the same time, it's not all gloom, and there are silver linings where you see, for example, in the United States, sex workers coming together and saying, listen, we don't care if the lady is not a sex worker. She might even be a victim of trafficking, because in this time these victims are not making the money for these traffickers, so they're left to their own. And if we suspect that that's the case, the sex workers in Orange Walk have come together and said, I can give a little $20, I can give a little $10, I can give up beans, I got into the food assistance program, so I'll donate a bag of rice and beans and a can of whatever they gave them. And that is how I've seen that it has been the most beautiful, uplifting part of the work for me during this COVID pandemic, that women are navigating these systems.
Asha, sister, we're trying to get the images that our guest this morning brought with them to show us some of the work they're doing within the community. And so thank you, Chris, the Master Chief Operator. So tell us what images we're seeing, please, Elissa.
So this image in particular, this young lady is my colleague here in Orange Walk, and she's my ride or die in this activism work. And here what we did is we had gotten paid for some work, and we shared that money and bought some food items, the basics. We couldn't give a lot of things, and we were criticizing a lot about giving ramen, but we gave ramen, but I want to say that we also gave veggies, because we can mix it up, and and so we gave flour, beans, what we could on a daily basis. And then we have another friend that we constantly harass her, and so far she has really donated over $150 towards food, Pampers, milk. And I have to say, shout out to my family. They don't give me money, but they do give me, allow me to steal their vehicles and use their gas to go and deliver the food. And so it's a community effort, really. It's just, been so beautiful to see the reactions of the people. And it's sad to hear when people are saying that people are trying to curb, or people are trying to make a come up. It's food. It's food. People aren't trying to steal or take. People are trying to feed their kids and have food security, And so yes, that's really has been our contribution during this COVID-19. We're trying to hold on, and also at the same time hold the government accountable of what is their responsibility.
Salute. salute to that community effort. And some of the things they take away from what Elissa just shared, and she's a victims' right advocate. I have to get used to that terminology and understand the different spheres that it covers. And she is looking at some vulnerable community members who it would, from what you're saying, that they've slipped through the cracks. So you have sex workers, you have people who have been human trafficked, and you have people who, single parents who are not getting the money that they ought to be getting in a timely manner from the Belize Family Court, as well as a group of people who are victims of domestic violence. So you've touched on 4 vulnerable groups of people who it's very important as human beings that their needs are addressed. So salute to your leadership in the Orange Walk District and to all the people who support you. Yes, Elissa.
I just want to add, for liability reasons, that the particular case I was dealing with that day, she ended up having the finances in her account. However, those finances just made it there maybe a couple days before that post, but she hadn't checked, and that day we didn't have internet, so we didn't check before. But it was still very late. And I have other cases that I have provable evidence that these payments are late. The system is slow. So just for liability reasons, I have
Respect. Thanks for sharing that. That's important information as well. Ellen Sue, you have any questions you'd like to ask?
Yes, for Miss Elissa, because we have to come up with solutions. We need solutions for these. So my input when it comes to the payments, why is it not done at the job level, meaning get a salary deduction from my salary and directly into the account of the receiver, rather than bypass the whole system then?
I have a quick answer, because I have another case where we've been working. First of all, a lot of times the cases are gender-based violence. They have undertones of gender-based violence. So the male will do a lot not to have that salary deduction taken. I have a case where we fought it for 3 years in court. And that meant that I had to hustle attorney. And that previous attorney has now left the country studying, but she did a lot of work for us for free. And then I have another attorney that does a lot of pro bono work, but also a lot of credit work. So we credit, we say we can't pay you now, but we'll pay you in 2 weeks, And I have a colleague that was paying for attorney fees, but as of this year, he said he cannot help. He has to focus on his own population of people that he's providing service to. Totally understandable. And the salary deduction, sometimes right now I'm still waiting. After we won it in court, we fought for 2.5 years to win it in court. Then now it is stuck at the Belize Police Department Financial Office that I don't know the office that they haven't given the approval. So this lady has ended up waiting almost 3 years to go through and get that salary deduction. I'm sure there are cases out there where it works a little bit faster, but you got to understand that a lot of times you as a woman it requires that you go in, you know your laws, you know your Family and Children's Act, you know your Marriage Act, you know the laws that are applicable to your case. You go into there and you have the self-development and self-actualization and all that entails to get there. To go and stand up there, and even if they show you bad face, because for me, they show me bad face all the time. The issue is that I don't care, and I can push through past that, and my personality, the temperament, but it's taken me a lot of self-work, education, blah, 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 that a lot of times the women in rural areas, the women living in gender-based violence conditions don't have yet. And so they need somebody to go in and see, I call myself loudmouth. So they need a loudmouth to go in and say, you're not doing your job, miss, and be not afraid to answer them with respect. I don't go in and go cuss them with bad words. I go in and go say, you're not doing your job, miss. You're supposed to explain things better to this lady. And why are you so antagonistic to this lady? I saw you being so friendly with the man when he was here. And so, they need that. And so that is the challenges that we have. That the salary deduction would be ideal, but to get there, there's a lot of challenges, and many of the cases I see the men fight it tooth and nail.
How about any assistance from the special envoy for women and children?
I my this is my diplomatic this is my diplomatic smile.
I know, right?
Let me tell you a story about why I have lost faith. Um, and it was alive for a little bit, but then COVID-19 came and is suffocating it. I had a specific case that I had reached out to the special envoy, and it involved a minor that had been smuggled across the border to Guatemala. It had elements of trafficking, smuggling, not to conflate the two. I am still waiting. I'm still waiting to get a response from that email. And I can go into my email right now and tell you I can forward you the email because I don't speak when I don't have probative evidence of what I have done. And I'm still waiting. Recently, they had asked me if I would do a presentation for them here at Muffles, but then the COVID pandemic happened. So the special envoy, I believe that maybe she's doing a lot of work, but she needs to learn to multitask because she's not multitasking on these issues. And for me, from where I'm sitting, it's very selective who she stands up for and when she stands up on issues publicly and very strongly. She stood up for some issues like LGBT issues, which I applaud, as LGBTQ people are human beings. We all deserve to live in a world of safety, security. I applaud that. But it makes me feel like she's not done enough for cisgender women going through gender-based violence and institutionalized violence, just like LGBTQ and everybody else that's going through gender-based violence and social injustice and inequity here in Belize.
And then how about the
Elissa,
stigma? Okay.
1 second. If you could just share with us what cisgender means, please.
Yes, cisgender are women who are biologically they match their gender identity. So it's cisgender women are usually women that are born women and they identify as women.
As women. Do you believe that when it comes to the issues that you manage, especially with the single mothers and the sex workers, don't you believe that you don't get that amount of backative simply because of the stigma associated with the two? Because most of the time people look at women, especially single women, and they look at the man, and to society the man is this upstanding man. So their first question is, why she even left him? Look how she left a decent man, especially if she moves on to somebody else that they class as lesser than. And with the sex workers, most people consider sex workers as immigrants and they see them as home workers. So the minute you mention a sex worker, people are like, I really got time for them there.
And you know what I say? That I know home workers who never took a penny.
True. I get
know,
that.
Hold on. I know people who are in positions in our government who took away their friend's husband. I'm not judging, but I'm saying that if we're going to apply judgment on the basis that maybe I'm not saying sex workers are saints. I'm saying we have good sex workers and we have sex workers who make bad decisions or evil decisions. Just like we have people in power that, we have banking women, we have newscasters who have made bad decisions, and, all kinds of people make bad decisions. It doesn't matter what we do. I mean, what do we say then of priests who have been found in court to have violated children? So we cannot judge based on what the profession of somebody is. We have to, I know sex workers who give up their pay, or they will do a sexual act and say, here, Miss Elissa, please give this to that young lady, or pay for the interim protection order, $13.50 for it. Oh, here, Miss Elissa, 5 pounds of flour. I just went with a client and did 3 features. Here's 5 pounds of flour. does that, are they still bad because what they do is deemed immoral? And immorality really is about your own perspective on things. Because I know sex
Correct.
workers that are, you'd be surprised to know that I myself have engaged in sex work. I always tell some of my girls, why are you ashamed to tell me that you sell bodies? I sell bodies too, just as I sell a little bit more because I'm a little bit fuller. And
And that's the reason for mentioning it. That how, there's a stigma. Stigma isn't has to be a factual thing. It's just the idea of something. So that's the reason why I asked, because most of the time when we look at each other, we are first thing we do is judge. It's like when somebody looks at me, I have locks. That one time I was walking down the street and this guy, he asked me for a lighter. So I said, lighter? I said, oh, I drink a lighter. You're black, you got dreads. So he assumed off the bat that I must have a lighter with me because I have locks. So it's just the stigma of how we look at each others and then say who we will help and who we won't because of our idea of them. So that's what I'm saying, that probably you get a little, maybe your work is 10 times more harder because of the stigma associated with the demographic that you choose to help.
Let me just stick in here. Perfect example of why you shouldn't judge people. Our sister, Stephanie, identifies as a Rastafari. Looking at her, because the stereotype of what, and I mean for years, it's not new, but directly when I get a sense of my sister one time, because, I mean, just looking at her, stereotype, you wouldn't think Rastafari and you wouldn't think farmer. And so this is an awesome opportunity to address accepting people as human beings for who they are, not what they appear, like you look at them with your two eyes and we're sick, or shush, we're here.
Correct.
I'm so happy that Elissa made the point of we, as human beings, we make wrong choices. We're not the sum total of a wrong choice we made. For example, I was incarcerated in 2008, 2007, 6 jails, 1 penitentiary, get deported after living in the United States for 18 years. I am not a sum total of a deportee. It's a part of my story. It shaped who I am as a whole being. And I really appreciate Elissa sharing that the work of sex workers and not having the shame attached to it and people's intentions. And so, yeah, salute to the conversation. You could lock off this segment, Ellen Sue, and then when we come back, we are definitely here for Farmer Stephanie.
I just want to mention that, each person is on their own journey. And sometimes socially, just because I might be more economically, say, well off, I use that as leverage, But who really knows how to live this life, but live the life you live, you get me? So there shouldn't be shame, there shouldn't be judgment, but we're not living in the ideal world where we all understand each other. So to me, everything always goes back to the root of everything, self-value, because when you value self, when you know who you are, whatever chatterings, you'll be least bothered by it. And whatever feeling you have, whatever feeling you're festering, that's what you want to share. So if you're angry, then it's anger that you'll have to share. If it's love and kindness, then it's that you'll have to share. So the minute that you look at your actions and you say, you know what, this is just an act. This isn't me. You understand me? It's just like if you hurt somebody just because maybe somebody came and they frightened you and you just fire a blow. You could kill a person, but was that your intention? It wasn't your intention. So how could you class me as a murderer? And that wasn't my intention, right? So I like you, Miss Elissa, and thank you for being brave enough that be bravery. Thank you for being yourself enough to just speak your truth. I feel
that is really and truly all we can do. I'm trying to connect my computer because it's disconnected itself. Hold on.
Okay then. So we'll go to our first break.
Yes.
And we'll be right back with more.
Can do to be ourselves, I think, and to spread light. I mean,
This one goes out to our patriots.
Be the hero the world needs right now. Wash your hands.
Smart está totalmente preparado para las demandas de nuestra red para facilitar a los que trabajan desde casa y para que los clientes continúen comunicando con amigos y familiares. Con todo el país recluidos en casa, nuestro equipo ha impulsado servicios y promociones más innovadores como nuestros datos dobles, junto con nuevas formas de comprar servicios móviles a través de nuestra aplicación y agentes en todo el país. Smart se enorgullece de tener personal dedicado trabajando desde casa, así como en el campo para mantener la comunicación continua. Nuestros clientes también pueden seguir nuestro gimnasio en línea, ciencia, comedia y otros grandes segmentos para permanecer activos en casa. Smart también ha patrocinado la línea directa gratuita del Ministerio de Salud. Además, obsequio a todo el personal médico de primera línea un número de prepago con tiempo aire de $50 para mantenerse en contacto en estos tiempos. Tenga por seguro que estamos con usted y busca más promociones semanales en SMS, voz y datos. Sea Smart y manténgase a salvo.
Your Belize City Council continues to work towards building a safer, healthier, and more efficient society for all residents to enjoy. The latest modification we've made is the installation of the new traffic light system at the corner of Neil Penn Road and Central American Boulevard. To ensure that the new system is risk-free for all citizens, we have prepared some traffic safety tips that should be kept in mind while traveling in the area. To our drivers, remember Neil Penn Road is now a one-way street, meaning it is illegal to turn left onto Neil Penn Road from the Central American Boulevard when driving in the direction of Cesar Ridge Road. It is illegal to turn right onto Neil Penn Road from the Central American Boulevard when driving in the direction of the Balkan Bridge. The Belize City Council, always about the people.
If you want to help save the world, sneeze into your elbow.
Patriots, all people who love them country, bad love them homeland, will never give it up to another nation. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. Follow me now. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. This time me name is Pupa. Belize me come from the Belize City area. 110% Belize and proud of it. So don't tell me. Patriots, all people who love them country, bad love them homeland, will never give it up to another nation. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. Follow me now. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. This time me name is Pupa. Belize me come from the Belize City area. 110% Belize and proud of it. So don't tell me. Patriots, all people who love them country, bad love them homeland, will never give it up to another nation. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. Follow me now. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. This time me name is Pupa. Belize me come from the Belize City area. 110% Belize and proud of it. So don't tell me. Patriots, all people who love them country, bad love them homeland, will never give it up to another nation. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. Follow me now. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. This time me name is Pupa. Belize me come from the Belize City area. 110% Belize and proud of it. So don't tell me. Patriots, all people who love them country, bad love them homeland, will never give it up to another nation. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. Follow me now. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. All people who love them country, bad love them homeland, will never give it up to another nation. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. Follow me now. This a fi we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. This because this a fi we with a fear.
Segment of Sunday Review. This is our 17th edition for 2020, and it's our second edition of the Belize National Conversation Community Connection via Skype within the COVID-19 reality. I'm YaYa, Marin-Coleman, co-host Ellen Sue Joseph. We have three guests with us today. I'm told one of our guests, Raspin, who will be calling from Hopkins Village in the Stan Creek district, called earlier, so he will call in again and we'll put his call through. And our other guest star is Stephanie Williams from Belma Plan in the Kaya district. She's a farmer. And then we also have victim rights advocate Elissa Castellanos from the Orange Walk district. And our co-host, Ellen Sue Joseph, is a conscious sister in her capacity as a professional. She's a pharmacist. So, yes, Stephanie.
Oh. I don't want to disturb the cover, right? I hear things going nice and smooth, so I was like, I'm figuring like a way how to jump in there and just, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, come on in, everybody.
Yeah, say it, pretty sister.
Yeah.
So, tell me how you turned farmer.
Well, I think it was always somewhere within me. I just needed the opportunity, right, to go after it. I've always had a regular job. Funny enough, my last job, which was 4 years ago as an employee, I was in the tourism industry that is greatly shaken from this pandemic. So it's a plus for me that some years later, maybe 2 years after I retired, I wasn't at that job anymore. We moved to the farm and I became a farmer, so it all worked out for me, right? I didn't grow up on a farm. Like you said, if you look at my Facebook, I think I balance it well. If you see me out there, I might look like I'm on the runway, but for the most part, most of my time I'm on the farm. I'm in a rubber boots, some sweaty jeans, and that's basically me. I truly, truly love what I do. I believe that growing up, if you told me that I was going to become a farmer, I would have said you're lying. I think it's just because of the mentality and the idea of the people we call farmers. You tell a child at this age, you don't want to become a farmer. Make sure you study hard and you don't become a farmer, because that is hard work. I will say, of course, it is certainly not for everyone. Farming is not for everyone. It has to be a labor of love. For me, it's a labor of love. Growing your own food and literally sowing your seed and seeing it grow and reaping it, it's the most rewarding feeling anyone could ever feel. So, and I must add, I'm a vegetarian. So my pantry is literally outside in my yard. When I say I'm going to cook, I look outside and I see what's available. So yes.
What are some of the things you're planting right now?
At the moment, we have okras. We have okras, we have cilantros. I have some pak chow. I have ginger coming up. I have pumpkin. I have tomatoes coming up. A number of things. We have some cocoa, plantain, all the ground food, and at Country Dream, which is where I live. We make sure to do everything organic, so it's more on an organic-based planting rather than using all the chemicals and so.
Okay. Any tips for beginner farmers?
I'm a beginner farmer as well. The
backyard farming.
Backyard farming. Definitely. First of all, wanting to be outside has to be something that you enjoy. You can't be someone that say, I don't like the sun and I don't like to get dirty, but I want to do farming. I don't think it goes hand in hand, It literally starts with buying a pack of seeds. Honestly, that's where it starts. Buying a pack of seed, and you don't have to have the perfect soil. Mix it in with. I met a friend the other day, and she's doing some farming. Not met a friend. She's actually on the Big A working group with us, and new to me, she came and she brought all her plants. It was some sweet potatoes, and there were no soil in the bag. It was all sawdust. So for people
Whoa.
who say that soil is expensive and they can't afford soil, go get some sawdust from the carpentry shop somewhere. But all she had in the bags were sawdust, and these sweet potatoes look so beautiful. And she said she get a 20-pound sweet potato out of this same mixture of just sawdust. So, the great thing about farming is that there are many right ways. It isn't one right way that makes it so difficult that if I don't get it this way, I'm not getting it any at all. No, that is not farming. I myself, I'm still learning which crop does well in the sun, which needs more shade. I think it's all the practical is where you learn the most. I mean, all the information are out there at this point, Pinterest and YouTube. I'm going to University of Pinterest and YouTube right now. And so, honestly, that's where I'm going right now. That's where I'm learning. Other than from the physical experience being on the farm, I am learning from all these different websites. So yes, for simple tips for backyard gardening, download Pinterest, search for some ideas, buy a pack of plant seeds, sorry, and sow your seed. That's where it starts. You won't get excited until you see your first of the sprouts, until you see your first plant pushing up and it's actually flowering and about to bear. It's like someone who have never been fishing would say, I don't like fishing. But have you ever felt a fish biting at that end of the line and you're pulling it in? No. So how can you not like fishing? So yes, those are my tips. Pinterest, a pack of seed, and some soil, some sawdust. Get it going.
Right.
I have a question. For Stephanie. Stephanie, what was your first crop like? Like, what was it? Were they good? I mean, what were your successes and your challenges for the first? What were the challenges, the lessons you learned?
Honestly, maybe I have blessed hands. Maybe I'm blessed. It's not all me. I'll say this one time. It's me and my significant other. We do this together, and our crops have been decently well. Like I'd say 80% of what we've been planting, and that's a good crop if you're getting at least 80%, right? And so 80% of what we're planting, I'm getting back. And this is literally us trying out everything. We're still trying out crops. We're still seeing what works, what gives you more, and things like that. So, yeah.
You mentioned Big A. What was that? I didn't.
Sorry?
Big A. You said something about Big A.
Big A. Big A.
Oh, Big A. Yes, the Belize grassroots. Empowering. Help me, YaYa. BEG, Belize Grassroots Youth Empowering Organization. Correct?
Belize Grassroots Youth Empowerment Association, BGYEA, Belize Grassroots Youth Empowerment Association. Raspin has been trying to reach us for a period of time, and he has been unable to reach us. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and call Raspin, and then I'll put him on. I'll do what I call a Jules, and see if we'll be able to hear him.
Okay.
Let me see. Do you all hear the phone ringing?
Yes.
You can hear it.
Good. Greetings, brother. Up on the air. Sorry about the multiple times you called and we missed the call.
Don't worry about this. I was just running to the China restaurant trying to get some more credit, right?
Respect, no problem. I don't have to worry about credit now. How are you being this morning, brother? How is Hopkins?
Man, life is beautiful. Life is magic, man. I woke up, so that's a very good start. You know what I mean?
Give thanks. Give thanks. I was sharing with our listeners and viewers that oftentimes one of my mantra is when we're organizing is who is your audience? And primarily the audience that we cater to are everyday grassroots people. And I would say a number of our people don't have access to the internet, don't have money to buy credits. And for some reason, a number of Belizeans people feel that or they have money for that on Facebook, they got money for WhatsApp, and it's not a reality. So I'm very pleased that you were able to say, yeah, listen, I have to call in because I don't have internet for Skype right now, and then you said just no, I have to go get my credit. So
yeah, that's real talk. I put in like $10, and you know what I'm saying? Then I was on there waiting, like 3 minutes gone. So like, man, this feel like a next hot spot socket, you know what I mean? Yeah, like sure enjoy the morning hours. So saying,
respect.
Yeah, man, I mean, that's just how it is sometimes here, day-to-day reality. Sometimes things right, you know what I'm saying? You can pick, choose, and refuse, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes your pockets got like, you know what I'm saying, the blues, you know what I mean? It just
Salute, Rastaman.
What, me? Yeah, I am what I am, sister, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because such a thing is as a person reaching for a higher self, so you know. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm with it.
Salute to that. But you sound like you have an American accent. You not deportee like me?
I don't know, man. I don't have that privilege. You know I mean, no, man. I spent a lot of years up in Chicago, you know what I mean? I grew up on the west side, you know what I'm saying? West side DNA. It's all good. It went to school out there for like many, many years, you know what I'm saying? It was an awesome experience. I can't complain. You see all types of different things, you know what I mean? What can I say is, you know, we have to come home eventually. You know what I mean? This is where we at. This is where I was born. You know what I mean? I was born on the south side of Belize City. Shout out to all my peeps in YaYa. You know what I mean? Shout out to all them cats out there, you know what I mean, in the village. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're born, I'm a born Belize. You know what I mean?
Please share with us who your parents are, because Raspin is going to share his COVID-19 experience. And this is, what I'm asking him is within the context of what I know he's going to share. Can you tell us who your parents are? And then, Stephanie, did you upload the picture I sent for you with Raspin? I'm not hearing you. Okay, I'll send it to you, and then you could share it in the group so that Christy can share it well. Raspin is sharing the story. Tell us who your parents are, brother, please.
Well, I'm glad you're using your credits, man, because it's a long story. But same way, you know what I'm saying, my pops, you know what I'm saying, grew up in the South, you know what I mean, he's from Hopkins, you know what I'm saying, that's the same Clifford Augustine Sr. You know what I mean, my mom, you know what I'm saying, she grew up on the South side of Belize City, Dr. Elmore Augustine. Shout out to my peeps, and I'm glad they're still doing healthy, you know, everybody's doing good. You know what I mean? You know, they were born Belizean, went through the vibration, took it to a next level and migrated to the States, and you know what I'm saying, search for, like, you know what I mean, a different aspect of life. You know what I mean? There's a lot of details in between time in the meantime, but you know what I mean? Just want to say, if they listening, shouts out, enough love to them peeps, you know what I mean? According to my experience with this corona vibration, I started off like this, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I like to send a shout out, you know what I'm saying, to a freshly born ancestor. Rest in my peace, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to my Aunt Margaret Rose Aranda. She fell a victim, you know what I'm saying, to the complications caused by corona. You know what I'm saying? She was an awesome spirit, man, strong woman, you know what I'm saying? Type of person that, like, sets the trend for inspiration, them type of people, you know what I'm saying? And she's like, you know how it is, like, we don't really see it that rampant over here, but she caught it over there just like that, you know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, doing this, respirator, doing that, taking this medication, all them things, just everything doesn't work on everybody the same. We're all biologically and DNA different, even though it's the same species, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know, what works for some will work for others. And, you know, she, you know what I'm saying, come to it. We're going to miss it, you know what I mean?
She was your mom or your dad's sister?
That was my pop's sister. That was my pop's sister off the Hopkins side. Yeah, man.
Can you say her name again for us, please? And we're hailing her up as our new ancestor.
Yes, man. Yes, man. Her name was Margaret Rose Aranda. You know what I mean? She was born, as a matter of fact, you know what I'm saying, on a lighter note, she was the first person born when everybody migrated south of Hawaii to what is presently known as Uganda. That's Hopkins Village, otherwise it's known as, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, like back then life was basic. Wells were dug throughout the village as a water supply. There wasn't any really water bill. Kerosene lamps and candles were used nightly, so there wasn't any light bill. Farming and fishing were the main sources, like sustainability. The surplus generated, like from these particular structures, were used to stimulate the economy. So you see, the cultural system at the time was designed for not to be built to be a burden. Now, Hopkins, as all things do grow, and as a nation sets a new rhythm, like from farming to ports, police, teachers, politics, and now tourism, especially tourism, like, you know what I'm saying, being the main form of steady income for many tour guides, restaurants, taco stands, the bread man, tamales man, everybody took an impact, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's pockets have to be empty pocket syndrome for the moment, you know what I mean? So we all feeling it, you know what I mean? Just like, you know what I mean? It's just like this thing just happened so quickly and rapidly, you know what I'm saying? Everything just stopped. The next thing you know, new rules every minute, new can't do this, can't do that. But we're still managing to go on, you know what I'm saying, just with a higher sense of uncertainty. So as far as I see, like in Hopkins, what's going on, it's like the food banks being set up by several different, you know what I'm saying, several different outlets within the community, several different people to assist, and just adhering to the spontaneous turn of events. But if I can add my 2 cents, with something I was thinking about, a proper preparation prevents a poor performance. I can't speak for every district, town, or village in the nation, but I can say Hopkins is blessed. We still maintain a cultural connection to the land and the state to a degree, because of the current quarantine. You know what I mean? You can't really fish how you want, you can't really go to the farm how you want, you can't move how you want for a moment, you know what I'm saying? But the amount of time it's going to take to get back to a level of normalcy is the same amount of time that can be used to shift back into self-sufficiency. Like, while the food banks and donations still flowing, let's start growing. You know what I'm saying? And shouts out to all the artisans and innovators. Now's the time we really need you to step up. A good example would be, I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind.
Yes.
Like a modern day Africa, with food that less resource than we, but is able to fabricate an invention off of own common sense and inspiration. That was a dope flick. If y'all haven't seen it, check it out. We here believe we have good sense and Google, for those that can afford it, and the guidance of our ancestors when we choose that route. You know what I'm saying? To ease them type of things, so it's like to lead to more, find innovative and inventive ways for our circumstance to use solar and wind. Because, like I said, we don't know what circumstance it is. Our economy has changed so much. We got to try to make it the best way we can. You know what I'm saying? And another thought would be just to prepare yourself psychologically for this journey, because realistically, quarantine is eventually going to end. You know what I'm saying? With or without Corona disappearing. You know what I'm saying? We have to find a way to overcome all this and go through the growing pains. You know what I'm saying? See the evolution of this one world alliance. You know what I mean? Just take your time, expand your mind, and just let's get free. You know what I mean?
Share Raspin. Elissa, do you have any questions for Raspin?
No, I really no question to Raspin. I like Raspin vibes. He come from a level where I really appreciate.
That's what I said. We'll make I give you the best, report I could, because every day is changing. Every day is new adaptation to our environment, to what's really good.
Raspin, are you doing any farming or fishing?
Well, actually, you know what I'm saying? It's like the fishing's limited because I don't have my own boat. So anytime I do it, if you didn't get a chance to jump on somebody and just go for the ride, And, you know what I'm saying? It's like we live in a village, and like most of these guys are, you know what I'm saying? Most of the people out here are my family. So, like if not my particular ranch, I would help out at their ranch, you know what I'm saying? Or if making a fishing trip, they throw me in the boat with them, and you know what I mean? So it's like life is still going on, and I'm blessed to say, like I say, we have access to that. Some people don't, you know what I'm saying? Some people, you know what I mean, they live in a spot, and that's all they can do for the moment, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're trying to, actually what we're attempting to do in the near future, you know what I'm saying, is to like start to like grow more, you know what I'm saying? Like I would have said, like 3 months crop, 4 months crop, just to like, you know what I mean, keep things bubbling. You know what I mean? Especially plant your plantain, your cocoa, your cassava, everything long term, plant your trees, your breadfruits, any type of tree, you know what I mean? You'll be amazed how 5 years pass. You'll be amazed, we almost like in 3 months into this thing. If we would have started doing that from the beginning of this thing, people wouldn't be worried about too much of the food crisis, because you done get your first batch. You know what I'm saying? You know?
But a large number of us don't eat vegetables,
And which is true, because I remember my granny said, man, I don't eat that, that's for sick people. You know what I'm saying? And I never loved my granny, rest in peace, but I was just like, you know what I mean? That was their vibe, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I didn't knock her for it. It was just, you know what I'm saying? But for those that do it, for those that don't, it should still be like a part of our diet, you know what I mean? If possible, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what's going to keep you healthy throughout this particular transformation we're going through. You catch Corona, if your body healthy, or at least can manage it, you're going to survive. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying, go to the extreme and run to the doctors and go through all that, you know what I mean? Just keep your immunity properly balanced. Do whatever it takes or whatever you feel comfortable with to, like, you know what I'm saying, make it, so I said preventative measures, not just social distancing, but like, you know what I mean? Drink your lime water in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Stay away from certain cheeses and rice, because that builds mucus, and Corona's supposed to be like the mucus thing for the pneumonia vibration, you know what I mean? So, study what's your enemy in order to beat it.
Salute. On the call with us this morning, Raspin, we have a black sister who's a farmer from out of the Kaya district. You may know her. She and her partner has a farm, Country Dreams, and they're also part of the Belize Grassroots Youth Empowerment Big E Association working group. Stephanie Williams, we also have a victim rights advocate, Elissa Castellanos, from one of the Orange Walk district, and she is sharing about the reality of people who are oftentimes they slip through the cracks, such as your sex workers, people who are living with domestic abuse, people who are being trafficked, and people who are parents who are not getting their monies oftentimes on time after it was paid to the Belize Family Court. So I don't want to hear you and Steph reason farmer to farmer, Rastafari to Rastafari for a minute. Got it strong.
Yes, man. Hey, yo, Steph, what you know about hemp? You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, you are starting now.
Yes, no, real talk, because you know what I mean? It's one of them things, especially at the certain level that we're at right now, could be of major benefit for this whole economy. I'm talking about transforming. I was up in Chicago, what was it, like around December, January? Man, you got hemp lotion, hemp beer, hemp this, hemp that, in like local stores. I'm like, it's like a part of a new psychological trend. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm telling people down here, man, it's a need for this. It's a need for this, you know what I'm saying? And we got land, lots of it. You see what I'm saying? Know what I mean? Real talk. And so, yeah, man, Miss Steph, it'll be great to link with you on that level and beyond about, you know what I'm saying, self-sufficiency too. You might know new tricks to, like, make the quash don't come and eat your crops after you grow them, or, you know what I mean, how to keep out the burglars, or, you know what I mean, so certain seeds you could plant that are, like, you could splice them and, you know what I'm saying, geneticize them, you know what I mean? So, yeah, hit me up, you know what I'm saying, you get my number from WhatsApp, you know what I'm saying, my number from YaYa on WhatsApp, just hit me. Like I say, when we have more time to reason, Big Ye, those are my peeps, you know what I'm saying? I know a couple of them cats in them, man. Shout out to my youth, enough love, you know what I mean? So, you know.
But on a reason now, to an extent, got you, Steph?
Okay, hey, Mr. Steph, is does Big Ye have any format to approach this certain hemp thing coming in?
Your mic is not on. No, you're good. Steph is good now. Go ahead, Steph.
All in about the hemp, it's all in discussion. YaYa know that I share.
You can't hear.
Oh,
can you hear her now?
Hello, you Miss Steph?
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Nope.
I don't know how to let. Oh, I know. I have to put him. Yeah. I have to put him on speaker. No, he is on speaker. All right, I don't know how to do it with my headphones. So I'm going to take out my headphones. I'm hoping you will hear the noise in the environment where
I'm not hearing any at all. I'm not hearing him.
Yeah, lose.
Yeah, I can't.
Okay, you all tell me what to do so they can hear.
I'm not sure.
We're not sure what to do so that you can hear.
Sometimes, if she can answer the question for me, and like, you know what I'm saying, maybe that, you know, so that other people can benefit from the answer, not just myself.
Okay.
We've about the hemp, we've had great discussion about getting into the industry.
Yes. Hello?
Yes. You're hearing me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes, we've certainly had discussions about the hemp industry. I myself, I have great interest in the hemp industry, but at this time, I guess due to COVID and everything that is happening, the short of food and minimal movements, and you know, you can't just be out there making your money other ways. And so right now we've been doing full-time farming at the farm. Farming food, you know, planting food that we can eat at the moment. But hemp is definitely in the near future. Definitely we'll get into some more discussion, some deeper discussions, see how we can get our co-op going. And we would definitely love to hook up with you, link up with you, and see, you know, share information and see where we can move from there.
You know?
Can you share before we go to break, Steph? Can you share with us what's going on with Big E?
Okay, so at this last week, Big E, we've been having for about a year and a half. We've been very active. You guys might not be hearing much from us, but we've been very active. And last week we commenced a farming pilot project. What a perfect time to do such thing, right? We commenced a farming pilot project with just the Big A working group because we thought that we needed to start. And to start, it's kind of hard to start with 50 or 100 members, but it was easier to start with just the working group. And we dedicated our weekends. So my weekends, they're dedicated Saturday and Sunday. All 10 of us, we go out to Harmonyville. We commenced last weekend. It is an amazing thing, beautiful and inspiring to see 10, and I'm not trying to bring ethnicity into it, but 10 black men and women come together, and from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., we clean an entire acre. It shows you the power of unity. The first day we did it, the first weekend, I had to go in a corner and I kind of got emotional because it's not often time I get to see my brothers and my sisters coming together, and especially to do something like farming. We, at least not in Belize, we don't get to see that too often. And so 10 of us came together and we completed the first land on Saturday. We completed a second land on Saturday. We completed one yesterday. And as I am speaking, the working group is out in Harmonyville, maintaining social distancing. They are completing another acre. So it's at whatever stage your land is, whether your land is at the cleaning stage, at the fencing stage, you want to build something, you want to plant. The idea is to, if 10 of us plant 2 crops, that's 20 crop coming out of Harmonyville off an entire acre. And this is just the start. This is just the start. You know, this is definitely just the beginning. So we want to encourage our members, but we have to lead by example. So we want to show them what we can do and encourage them to come out and do the same. We need to realize that having a piece of land, as much as it's a human right, it has now become a privilege to have in an entire acre, not a house lot. An acre is about 6 to 8 house lots. So we're talking about an entire acre where you can farm your own food. I think after COVID, everybody should want a backyard gardening. Doing we
True.
should be doing backyard gardening at this point, you know. And yeah, so that's what have been happening with Big Ear right now as well. Since I'm here, I should say we had gotten our number active because we know a number of members would want to get in contact with us, and you know we will be forming more groups where you can be in your group of 10 and go out. We'll manage it, but you have to put in the work. And so we had a number, we had a little glitch in the phone, and so we had a little over 100 members who had sent in messages, and we had a glitch, and so we lost all the messages. So we're kindly pleading that if you're one of those members, you're listening right now, that have sent a message, that you kindly resend it over again. And to any other member that would like to get in contact with us, we have an active Facebook page, and as well we have a number that we will be sharing.
Okay, thank you.
Word.
I
That's
just,
what's up. That's inspiration. That's inspiration, man. That's inspiration, man. Man, y'all make it do what it do, man. For real. You know what I mean? We need some of that type of inspiration on this side. You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely.
I
So
just
you were
believe that
saying,
we have to change. I say that we have to change the mentality that we have at present when it comes to agricultural entrepreneurship. We can't just keep thinking about from our gardens to our plate, because then
No.
we have to have something.
Yes.
It has to be beyond just self-sustainability when it
Yes.
comes to the daily eating. But
Eating.
as an industry, we have to build an industry so that
Industry.
we can be self-sufficient, self-dependent, and also gain some kind of economical.
Definitely. In the very near future, I want the entire Belize to look out for products from
Less
Country Green
wastage.
Farm, repackaging and
Wastage.
canning, and
Correct.
you know, drying fruits, and just we waste a lot of our vegetables and
Correct.
fruits here in Belize.
We waste a lot.
And there's so many things that you can do with it. It's as simple as, let me give you an example. I was in the States and I went to this Asian supermarket, and there were like 10 soursop leaves, dried soursop leaves in a bag, and it was $3.50 US.
Correct.
And
We
all
waste a lot. We waste a lot in business. We do a lot of whenever it's any fruit season, we have wastage. We have mango wastage. We have
blackberry, cravo.
so we have to change the mentality and start placing value in it.
Yeah. And we need to change the mentality of only being consumers. I think we consume way too much. We just always want to spend the money we have in our package and spend it. And, you know, COVID taught
I
us
believe
that we need to
I,
save.
we got COVID us in a different sense that yes, maybe our country we're not medically we're not being bombarded with COVID, but when it comes to everything else, we- COVID is highlighting what we need to improve.
Definitely, definitely. And
Respect, we need to go ahead and take our break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Be the hero the world needs right now. Wash your hands.
Smart está totalmente preparado para las demandas de nuestra red para facilitar a los que trabajan desde casa y para que los clientes continúen comunicando con amigos y familiares. Con todo el país recluidos en casa, nuestro equipo ha impulsado servicios y promociones más innovadores como nuestros datos dobles, junto con nuevas formas de comprar servicios móviles a través de nuestra aplicación y agentes en todo el país. Smart se enorgullece de tener personal dedicado trabajando desde casa, así como en el campo para mantener la comunicación continua. Nuestros clientes también pueden seguir nuestro gimnasio en línea, ciencia, comedia y otros grandes segmentos para permanecer activos en casa. Smart también ha patrocinado la línea directa gratuita del Ministerio de Salud. Además, obsequio a todo el personal médico de primera línea un número de prepago con tiempo aire de $50 para mantenerse en contacto en estos tiempos. Tenga por seguro que estamos con usted y busca más promociones semanales en SMS, voz y datos. Sea Smart y manténgase a salvo.
Your Belize City Council continues to work towards building a safer, healthier, and more efficient society for all residents to enjoy. The latest modification we've made is the installation of the new traffic light system at the corner of Neil Penn Road and Central American Boulevard. To ensure that the new system is risk-free for all citizens, we have prepared some traffic safety tips that should be kept in mind while traveling in the area. To our drivers, remember Neil Penn Road is now a one-way street, meaning it is illegal to turn left onto Neil Penn Road from the Central American Boulevard when driving in the direction of Cesar Ridge Road. It is illegal to turn right onto Neil Penn Road from the Central American Boulevard when driving in the direction of the Balkan Bridge. The Belize City Council, always about the people.
If you want to help save the world, sneeze into your elbow.
Patriots, all people who love them country bad, love them homeland, will never give it up to another nation. This happy we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. Follow me now. This happy we with a fear. Homeland will never give it up to another nation. This happy we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. Follow me now. This happy we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. This time me name is Pupa. Belize me come from the Belize City area. 110% Belize and proud of it, sir. Don't tell me about maritime area. Long time ago agreement by the slave master. Talking about the hip and the Belize and dollar because this happy we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. This happy we with a fear. Nobody give it to no Guatemala. I know we should always help our neighbor, especially in time of a natural disaster. But this is not the case with Guatemala because the poor people will never see a dollar. Only a few rich man will start to get richer. To the prime minister be happy, write a letter because
Mr. Politician, we got to change the plans.
God have mercy.
Mr. Politician, we got to change the plans.
This happy we with a fear.
I'm your host, YaYa Joseph. On the phone just now was Raspin. Amazing, brother. I did not.
Love it.
I know I spin because we
Great
were both for a
vibe.
while and there was some vibration between me and the brother owner. And so just now, just like, thank you, ancestors. Like, wow, that was. We also have as our guest on Skype, we have a farmer, a black woman farmer from the Kaya district, Stephanie Williams, and both her and her partner, who is a member of the Belize Grassroots Youth Empowerment Association Working Group. They're farmers and they sell their produce at the Belmopan Market. It's Tuesdays and Fridays or only Fridays?
Actually, no, we haven't been doing market there. What we've been doing is deliveries. We were catering in the beginning mostly to the elderly, the ones that doesn't want to go to the market, and then it widened from there. It was all our friends and families, and the support have been amazing, I must say. Everybody, yeah.
Tell me wanna sell. I don't know if did you get the image from Meg Steph?
I did. I sent it.
Okay, when you Christy, if you could share those images when she's talking about the initiative that Big YaYa is doing right now out in Harmonyville. It's a syndicate. This is their second week, and so that it could complement what Stephanie is sharing. Tell us about the packaging for country farm produce, though, Stephanie. How does it work? You said you're delivering.
Yes. So what I do, we're not like a vegetable market that has so many options because we just started. And so what we are planting on the farm is what we bring out, but as well there was a demand for onions and sweet peppers, and we're not planting the onions and the sweet peppers just yet, but we're planting everything else. And we decided that we live 2 miles before the Valley of Peace community, which is one of the biggest farming community in the Kaya district. And so we visited small farmers that during the time of the pandemic, they weren't able to move because they don't have a mobile, or they don't have anything to come out as they please. There was no transportation. And we visited most of the smaller farmers where we could have purchased their produce and go out and resell it. So we purchased them at the wholesale price, but we were also helping these small farmers at the same time. So that was the idea, to help the small farmers who were stuck with some of their produce by not able to move due to the lockdown. And so we had more produce, more veggies that were available, more options. And yeah, so I send out my list. That's usually what I do. I send out my list to my contacts. I post it on my WhatsApp story. And honestly, I haven't been using all the network that I could use, just because I want to be able to provide for a certain amount of people before I move on to more, and I'm not able to meet the demand. So I'm still really on the low. I'm not even putting it out there all yet. So that is what we've been doing. I send out my list. I get the orders back and I get them prepared, and we start delivering at midday. So we do it now on Tuesdays to Fridays because we're in Harmonyville, working on the pilot project on weekends, and I need a Monday off, which is still not off because farming, the work never stops. You have to go fetch your water. We don't have a water source on the land just yet. We're working on a well this dry season, but we're 2 miles from the river, which we have to pass every single day coming in and out from the farm. So we fetch water from the river, and it's my daily workout. So I don't complain. I think I'm enjoying hard work at this time.
Salute to that, Steph. I want to share that this past Friday morning, Ubada Educational Foundation, as well as other entities across the globe, are working on a initiative to connect grassroots people from Belize, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, San Andres, Colombia, and Barbuda. Grassroots people to connect within their countries and across borders to create a space, one, for us to connect as beings, and two, for the work that we're doing to be collectivized, to then be used for policymakers to make what we're living and talking and being about become a reality. Oftentimes, these initiatives are top down. You have your scientists, researchers, academians. we are partnering with them. It's just that the roots people are taking the space is being created for roots people. So Ubada Educational Foundation is the organization in Belize. I'm the country representative. My number is 85. Oh my gosh. Talk about colonization. I lived in the United States almost 14 years ago, and I'm still giving it here.
I was wondering.
I'm telling you, conditioning. I've been out of prison almost 10 years, and I would think it doesn't have an impact on my life until I would go to the bathroom and I walk away without turning off the sink, and I'm like, yeah, it's still, because it's an automatic process in many of the jails and penitentiary that I was in. So my number is 501-671-8050. I'm looking to contact everyday farmers so that we in Belize, because it's difficult to, for me, it's not ethical to seek solidarity outside your borders when you're not in solidarity with people in your home, in your community, in your country. For me, I don't read that. So and Big A is a big part of that process. Because UEF focus is indigenous and African people, which are our people, I believe, pretty much the majority. I reached out to a brother on the Chuk, a Yucatec Mayan brother from San Pablo in the Orinjoak district. So he was the representative for Belize on this Zoom conversation. You may go to Krem Sunday Review timeline to see the conversation that we had. We also did coverage on Krem television to promote it. It was hunger, COVID-19 resistance, and farmer-based solutions. To my surprise, I get cold seed now. To my sweet surprise, JCR Zoo streamed it on Krem Radio. Ellen Sue told me, or I would not have known. That was major. That was big. Salute, senior engineer JCR Zoo, who's also the engineer for this show right now. But that's what happens when you own your own media house. Yeah. That's the beauty of owning your own, and that's the essence of what we're talking about. Here we have examples. It's sad that it had to be a COVID-19 reality that really unified a number of us. Salute to the work that, as sex workers, that you have people who are selling their bodies and using some of that money to pay for services and then somehow
can't hear you. How about disturbance? Semi the past.
By your house? By your house?
I know the song though, but not my house.
It's mine. I think it's mine.
Your ear's good, and it's your good thing.
Yes.
Salute to Stephanie and her team that they saw a need, and oftentimes, intentionally so because of the capitalist system that we live in, people look to divide people. So you have a divide oftentimes between the people the citizens or the residents from a country and the immigrants, people who move from one country to another country. Now, a lot of us Belizean people are surviving on remittances from Belizeans in other parts of the world. So they're immigrants to this country. We ought to be more sensitive on a shot. Tell me how to talk loud. I could feel myself, I get excited, make I calm myself down. To be sensitive to other immigrants who are in our country. And let me quickly, and Elissa can address this. There's a large group of Belizeans, Belize City in particular, who are sex workers. Real talk. And this is not new, this is for generations. So you may have an image in your mind of what a sex worker looks like, and that is not the truth.
That's true.
Salute to us working collectively within our communities, within our homes, to provide. Now, one of the things we've heard is that what we ought to be doing. Listen, most of us are colonized mind. Most of our leaders are colonized-minded people. So what we should do? This is what is.
Yeah.
But what we're doing is, we're not just talking. We're through our everyday liberty offering an alternative, because if you're going to tell someone to give up their ramens, and salute to people like Sister India Camille, who is showing you how you can prepare food, because Stephanie said, everybody don't make to be
I think that's one of the most important things, that we have to teach each other how to eat again.
Yes. Unlearn and learn again.
You have to, and I think that's one of the vital links that's missing. How do we eat? How do we eat?
We need to unlearn what we've learned
correct.
and learn
Because
it
most
again.
people, they know how to do the ramen, they know how to do this, the sausage, the hot dog sausages, they know to do the bread and the peanuts butter. But if you give them real food,
Yeah, they don't know what to. It's like most time I'm out with my friends or whatever it is, and they would say, "What would you eat? You want a salad?" And they have this idea that a vegetarian only eat leaf.
Yes.
we get creative and we make exciting things out of something that tastes like some chicken wings.
Then you guys have a responsibility to us. Because yesterday, last week I saw this person eating some nuggets, but they're cassava nuggets. Cassava
So
nuggets.
I also have to salute our brother, oh my gosh, Ras Ruben from Vegan Bites in the BTL Park, who has been very instrumental in offering an alternative to healthy living, Black Rastafari, brother, at affordable rates. There's variety, the food is tasty, it's accessible. So another thing that we need to be careful about is, the truth is that a lot of our people are impoverished people, and they're doing the best that they can based on what they know. So it's not our intention to shame people because they're not eating. It's to lead by example and showing people this is what you can do. Actually, it's what our ancestors came from. In our lived memory, we know with granny or with great granny or one elder that we know that they bartered with each other, and the Chuk was saying, as you could take Maya people, and they're saying that they're losing that ancestral knowledge of, your seeds, and they didn't have a need for money because they exchanged food, they used the forest for medicinal purposes, for spiritual purposes, to build their homes. That's not what the capitalist system wants. They want us to continue to be consumers. They want us to continue to work for someone else, which is why May Day was so important. Workers' Day. It's on our backs that we uphold systems that continue to oppress ourselves.
Yeah.
So that was major. We have to go to our final thoughts, but salute, I'm getting, any honor to get texts. I have to read some of the feedback that I'm getting from people. Anybody telling you anything yet?
I wasn't checking my phone.
I never checked it either.
Yes. I got this one text. Where are you? Yes, the sister texted and said that she is watching the show with her mom. It's an incredible show. She did say the radio was fizzing a little bit. I got a text from someone also from out of Buttonwood Bay area who was saying the same thing about having issues with their radio. So if you all have anything else you'd like to share, if anyone has texted or called in, because we're on Skype, we're not able to live stream. This show should be uploaded to Krem Television Facebook page. It will repeat at 5:30 this evening. Okay. It's simulcasting right now on Krem Radio. And I'll go ahead and offer each of you your final thoughts. And I cannot thank you enough for the phenomenal work you're doing as leaders in your community, and be very inclusive, especially of people who the mainstream government system either don't know about or don't care about, or both. Go ahead, Elissa.
Okay. I want to say thank you. Kudos, Stephanie, for the work that you're doing. Kudos to Ellen. I think your energy is amazing. You have inspired me. Stephanie, I have a pic that I borrowed like 2 weeks ago. I will definitely start breaking ground.
Yes, make some use.
And I have always, when you said I have blessed hands, I worry about myself because I have tried to plant it every full moon for the past 3 full moons, and it doesn't work. And then I was nurturing a plant the other day. My mom comes and she's like, "Why are you nurturing this bush?"
Start with your kitchen scraps. Your kitchen scraps.
I just started cilantro yesterday, so I'm really, and I really am so inspired by you. I really feel like this is something that I need to talk to the women about. That we might not have the land space, But I have seen on Pinterest while I was looking for bed palette stuff, to grow, like, you know, in urban gardens, you know,
Yes.
like if you don't have a lot of space. So looking at spices, I have basil. I'm sure that I'll try today to see if I can plant some basil. Thank you for what you're doing, and it's really inspiring. And I'm Sue Ellen, I need to know how I can get my hands on your work. I really am reading material.
Thank you. I'll share.
And thank you, YaYa, for having me. Thank you for spreading light. Your show is one of the most light-filled, inspirational shows out there, and I really mean that. You know, it's the content is amazing, and your light, it shines through the screen.
Yes.
Thanks, sis. It's a collective energy. I have to really say, I have a really powerful inner circle and immediate families who genuinely nurture me and keep it real. Salute to my Big A family. Yes. Final thoughts, Stefan, please share that Big A number with us.
Final thoughts. First of all, I would like to say it was a pleasure being around such beautiful vibe and beautiful women today. I wasn't that nervous, although I'm not a TV person at all. The vibe was right? And to my Belizean people, I would like to say that, especially, I'm targeting you women right now. I hope that I'm relatable to some extent. You know, you can be whatever you want to be. Wear your stilettos, wear your cute clothes. It doesn't mean that you need to be in a raggedy jean and a rubber boots all day long. No, that is not farming. That is not what all farming. You have your personal life to live, you know, outside of farming, and whatever makes you comfortable. Honestly, I enjoyed being dressed up on the farm. So whatever makes you comfortable.
Wait, let me dress up on the farm.
Yeah, like I would get up on a Sunday. I would get up on a Sunday morning and put on a nice dress, and Kirk would ask me, "Where are you going?" "I'm going to water my plants." It's for me, getting dressed up is
I love it, Stephanie. I love it.
I mean, you look at it, Stephanie, it's your church.
Yes, it's my church, it's my peace, it's my tranquility. I feel most peaceful and relaxed when I'm at the farm. And so, yes, let this COVID experience be, for me, it was a blessing in disguise. I wasn't doing farming full time per se. Prior to COVID, I was still doing farming, living on the farm, everything. But now I'm a full-time farmer. I don't think I'm turning back after the normalcy. It's like what the brother said earlier. He said, let's work on self-sufficiency while we work on normalcy. You know, by the time everything is back to normal, let's work on some self-sufficiency. Even if it's just the habaneros, the culantro, and the cilantro, you'd be amazed of that extra $7 you're not spending at the market every week. So that's where it starts. But it was a pleasure, it was a pleasure, ladies.
Respect. Sue?
Yeah, so I just want to tell everybody that if normal was working, then COVID would not have created this change and this shift.
Definitely.
So we don't want to go back. We don't want to go back to pre-COVID. We want to hold on to the lesson of the experience of COVID. So, like I mentioned before, let us reduce our consumption. Let us conserve on electricity. Let us conserve on water. Let us enjoy being at home with our family, with our children. Ladies, especially us, let's take care of ourselves. You know, do your hair, do your nails, be like Miss Stephanie, and do stuff for the human side of you. Will make the spirit side of you just want to do better.
Yes.
Right? And then I just want to say, please don't wear on a mask. I ask you to wear on a mask. And make a change with mentality of what food is.
Yes.
And make us share our recipes. Make us share our recipes. Don't be ashamed of anything that you prepare. If anything you prepare from scraps, most of the foods that people actually enjoy were foods that were made from scraps. People like so all these stuff. Let's just
they were flavor food.
Okay, let us use COVID as the tool that, for me, it was intended to be, so that we could change how we work, so that we could be better human beings.
And can I just say this? A good physical, gives you great mental equals a perfect spiritual. So for anything to work, almost perfectly, you must have a good physical, and it stems from what you put in your mouth. You literally are what you eat.
That's
It goes
true.
back again to the trinity of mind, body, spirit. They
Mm-hmm.
all need to be in alignment. So it's whatever you put in. When you put it in, you ingest it. When you don't
Correct.
eat it, you digest. So whatever
Correct.
you ingest, as in what's in your mindset, what you're listening to, what you're
Mm-hmm.
reading,
That's true.
the people you have around you, your
Mm-hmm.
immediate environment, and understanding that people are born into very challenging circumstances. So it doesn't mean that there's no hope for those people. It just means that it's more challenging for those people, especially the people who are born in generational impoverishment.
Yeah.
Again, I want to salute all our guests today, to include Raspin from Hopkins Village.
Wake up,
What are the name of
Raspin.
Hopkins? What are in Hopkins Village indigenous name?
Uganda. Uganda.
Uganda.
Oh,
Uganda.
Uganda.
I learned something today.
Yes, yes, yes.
I learned a lot of things today.
Uganda.
This was really a powerful collective. Thanks so much, brother and sisters, all the people who tuned
Thank
in.
you too.
Salute to our Master Chief Operator, Christy, for last minute communication, producing technically a song show, guiding us through the process, telling us what to do. Salute to Chief Engineer JCR Zuaikala, scientist from Krem Radio, for guiding us through again and ensuring that Raspin was able to communicate with us via Krem Radio. To the people who listen, um, on Krem Radio and Krem TV, the show will repeat 5:30 this evening. The Krem now, Belize Grassroots Youth Empowerment Association, a collective of majority first-time Belizean landowners to own 1 acre of land at an affordable price between miles 41 and 42 on the George Price Road. Look here, stop calling thing highway, cause you know what highway look like, and then it's not highway. And you have a responsibility to speak truth to power. Then it's a road. Cause
Hey.
what a bridge name is from the George Price Road.
Beaver Dam. I think it's Beaver
As
Dam.
you jump Beaver Dam Bridge, going to Melbourne, all the property on your left of the road, all the way to the fence for the children's home.
Yes.
Everything over there is Harmonyville community. There's also another community within the Harmonyville community of immigrants, of Belizean people from urban and rural setting called Nuevo
Via Nuevo.
Via Nuevo, which are New
Valley.
New Valley. It is within the Harmonyville property.
They are Harmonyville. They are Harmonyville. The church is within the community. If you pass through, you will see that it says Harmonyville. I'm not sure if it's Baptist, Methodist, but they are. It's all Harmonyville.
Respect. So remember, we're asking Harmonyville residents to call us at 670-9192. 670-9192. The people who had text before, we had an issue, and so we lost those texts. So we're asking you if you could please be patient with us, and we text to 670-9192. Salute to the people in the Belize Grassroots Youth Empowerment Association working group. Do you want to name those people, Stephanie, so people know that these are real people? They're out there, sisters and brothers who are on the ground doing physical labor. There are some people in the working group who live in other countries, yet they still offer support in a number of ways. So can you share who those members are so people know that there's an active Belize Grassroots Youth Empowerment Association working group?
Definitely. So the Belize Grassroots working group consists of Kirk Garnett, Siege, that's Mr. Henderson, Dave Barnett, which is our liaison person. He's the person that will be in possession of that number and that you will be speaking to. Also Miguel Usher, myself, Elud Hall, Pambana. They are in the US at the moment, but very active, very
And
active
Samia
members.
in Mexico
and
City.
Samia, yes, and Samia in Mexico City. So that is our working group. We have 3 persons abroad that are very active as well with us.
Salute to that. Well, thanks again, Raspin, scientists, Christy, Ellen Sue, Stephanie, and Elissa. With that, we'll go ahead and sign out. Tune in at 5:30 this evening on Krem Television for a rebroadcast of today's Sunday Review.
Blessed be everybody.
Well, this one goes out to all patriots. Well, this one goes out to all patriots. All people who love them country bad, love them homeland. Will never give it up to another nation. This happy week.